Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben, and today I'm back with another banger of video. Here I am doing my UFC 297 predictions, which this pay-per-view is this Saturday in Toronto, Canada. UFC is back in Canada. Honestly, I've been trying to get into UFC for quite some time, and I really, because of my cousin, shout out my cousin, if you're watching this video, my cousin Omar, he really started getting me into UFC, to be honest with you. I seen a lot on his stories that he would like watch UFC, the main pay-per-views very frequently, and a lot of fight nights as well. So, I don't know, I just fell in love with the sport of MMA and like how physical, quick the rounds be. Well, not quick the rounds be, but a lot could happen in the sense of a 5-minute round in UFC. And I really like that, bro. I really like that high pace. And I know we haven't really covered UFC in this channel, but that's going to change starting today. I know it's not the most intriguing card looking at it, but I do feel like we might have some fights that will surprise a lot of people. And honestly, I'm very much so looking forward to it this weekend. I know I will be watching that after my Packers play. We'll see with that, hopefully you guys like my last video, divisional playoff predictions. If not, I'll link it right here in the description so you guys can check it out. We're only doing the main card right here just to let you guys know. I would have done the prelims, but I just feel like it's too much. But honestly, if this video does pretty good, I'm probably going to continue doing the prelims in my upcoming UFC video. So especially for UFC 300, I feel like I need to have a video of what the main event of UFC 300 should be in my point of view. But regardless of that, let's get into UFC 297 predictions. So like I said, we're only doing the main card, and first fight in the main card is Arnold Allen versus Movsar. I don't want to mispronounce the name, so if I do it, I apologize. Movsar Evloev. And honestly, I'm not that familiar with Movsar. I know he's 17-0. But I do have Arnold Allen winning this. I actually have watched like 2 fights of Arnold Allen. I like how he fights, bro, overall. I think, honestly, he wins this fight by unanimous decision. I think it goes to the judges, and I think Arnold Allen picks up the win by unanimous decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if Movsar wins. Sorry if I mispronounced the name as well. My fault. That might happen to some of the other fighters on this list as well. But just letting you guys know ahead of time. Next fight we have is Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barral. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce that last name. Like I said, my fault. But I am familiar with Marc-Andre. I actually really like how he fights. We know how Chris Curtis fights. He's an absolute dog. I mean, I think he trains with Sean Strickland, if I'm correct. Don't quote me on that, but I think he did. Because there's this one TikTok that has been going around with him and Sean Strickland. But this fight, I think it's going to be a good fight. I could honestly see it going either way. But if I had to put a prediction on this fight, which, I mean, damn, it's a tough fight. But I think Chris Curtis takes this fight, probably by split decision. So I got Chris Curtis beating Marc-Andre. Split decision is my point of view on this fight. When it comes to who's going to win it, now, that's a little bit interesting. Because I do think Mike Malott wins this fight. How does he win it? I don't think it's going the distance. I really don't. I don't see it going the distance. I think Mike Malott probably gets a stoppage in this fight. I think he probably stops Neal. I would say a 3rd round stoppage. I had to put away this fight does stop. I say submission. I think Mike Malott wins this fight by submission, round 3. Honestly, guys, I do see Mike Malott winning this fight. It's just in the matter of how. And I honestly do think he picks up this victory by submission in the 3rd round. So now let's move on to our co-main, which honestly has been getting a lot of critiques. And I understand why. Don't get it twisted. Like, I understand why. I do understand why. Like, it's not the most intriguing main event, or co-main, should I say, on paper. And I do understand that. I get it. But hopefully, they put out a great performance. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully these 2 women put out a great performance. And in this co-main event, we have Raquel Pennington versus Bueno Silva. And honestly, I'm not too familiar with Bueno Silva's game. I obviously know Raquel Pennington. And it makes me think, who wins this fight? And I don't know. I honestly don't know who wins this fight. I really think this fight is the most unpredictable fight in the card. A lot of people are going with Bueno Silva. And I think it's for sure possible. But I myself have a different point of view on that. I actually have Raquel Pennington winning this fight by a round 3 TKO. Yes, I think Raquel Pennington could get a TKO on Bueno Silva, but I will not be surprised if Bueno Silva does end up taking this victory by TKO, by KO, or by unanimous decision. It just really depends, but I do have Raquel Pennington. I guess pulling a little bit of an upset. I don't know. A lot of people said Bueno Silva by the looks of it on Twitter, but I'm not sure, or X, should I say. But I'm not sure, to be honest. But I do have Raquel Pennington coming on top on this fight, round 3 TKO. So, main event time. This is the fight that everybody wants to see. The UFC 297 main event, we have Sean Strickland, the middleweight champion, defending his championship against Dricus Du Plessis. Honestly, this fight, I'm excited for. there's been a lot of things happening going into this fight. You know, a lot of stuff with Sean Strickland. We know how Sean Strickland is. Honestly, I'm a big fan of the way Sean Strickland fights. I'll be honest. Philly shell and everything, he boxed his way to victory. But honestly, I do think he's an underrated wrestler. I've seen a little bit of his footage wrestling. He's very underrated. When it comes to use, I think he will, you know, be pretty decent at it. Dricus, he has stamina issues, I guess you could say. But strong performance against Whitaker in his last fight, honestly earning him this title shot. And shout out to him, because honestly he has been performing really well as of recent. Dricus could really make this fight a dog fight as well. You know, he's very scrappy. So is Strickland. That's why I say this fight is going to be an absolute dog fight. And putting a prediction on this has been a little bit difficult, but I think I'm going to stick with my gut and my instincts on this one. I think Sean Strickland wins this fight by majority decision. I think Sean Strickland wins this fight towards the end of the rounds. He's going to take over. I know Dricus has a stamina issue a little bit, but yeah, Sean Strickland's going to take over round 3, 4, 5. I know that for sure. All he has to do is really weather the storm in the early rounds. And if he weathers the storm, I can for sure see him pulling off this win. Maybe even getting a late stoppage, in my opinion. But I do, just to be a little bit more certain about it, I do want to just say majority decision victory for Sean Strickland. But either way it goes, I do see Sean Strickland winning this fight. And maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to say that. But I feel like that should be another video of who I think the UFC 300 main event should be. But I could for sure see Sean Strickland fighting on the card overall. Man, I mean, I don't know. Like he said, I think he said in the press conference, he doesn't have plans to fight on UFC 300 in April. But when it comes to Dana and the UFC, money talks, you know what I mean? So we're just going to have to wait and see. But I do have Sean Strickland winning this fight. And it's interesting because, you know, if Dricus wins this fight, they're probably going to set up Dricus versus Izzy at UFC 300. That's just how I see it. And obviously that would probably main event, which would suck so bad, bro. But I gotta stop talking about the UFC 300 main event. Sorry. That's just another video. Deadass. There's so many other videos. I feel like every time I record a video and a topic comes up in my head, I'm gonna like, that's another video. And I just quickly write it down after this video concludes. So for sure gotta write that one down. But yeah, let me know your guys' prediction for this Saturday's UFC 297 pay-per-view. Let me know. I will be watching it. I will be streaming it with my boy Lorden. So yeah, let me know. Hopefully you guys tune in and we can watch some good fights. Like I said, not the best card on paper, but hopefully the fights are intriguing when they are actually occurring in the octagon. So let's just check that out. It's been your boy Ben, and I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip, boys.